Hey, and welcome to Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, this series. There's so many good themes in these books that I want to make an entire series of videos to go over everything. First, I'll hit on who Marcus Aurelius was, Stoicism in a nutshell, and then we will dive into the books themselves. So, who was Marcus Aurelius besides the guy who portrayed him in the movie Gladiator? Marcus Aurelius was the Roman emperor from 161 until his death in 180. He was known as Marcus the Wise, and was the last of the so-called good emperors. During Marcus's later years, while he was commanding his armies, he wrote down many of his thoughts on Stoic philosophy. These personal writings consisted of 12 books called Meditations, which literally means things to one's self. He wrote these books over the last 10 years of his life. They were a source for his own guidance and self-improvement, and it's believed that he never intended for this to be published, as they were his personal notes to himself. These books provide a look inside the mind of a Stoic from almost 2,000 years ago, and the wisdom inside is still very much relevant in today's world. Before I dive into the lessons I pulled out of the book, let me briefly talk about Stoicism. Stoicism was founded by Zeno around 300 BCE. His teachings continued and evolved until the later Stoics like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius came around. Stoicism was a pretty big deal back in those days, but it died out in the 4th century when Constantine, who was the emperor at the time, declared Christianity the official religion of the Roman Empire. In 529 AD, Justinian I closed all pagan philosophy schools because he perceived them as being at odds with Christian faith. So, what is Stoicism? In a nutshell, the main theme of Stoicism is to understand what is under your control and what is not. So what is under your control? Your reactions, your emotions, and living by your virtues and doing the right thing. What is not under your control is pretty much everything else, all external events. So traffic, somebody cutting you off, natural disaster, illness. Even though you can try and be healthy, you can still get sick or get an injury. You can't control fame, reputation, what people think of you. Basically, you can't control most outside events. You can only really control one thing: your own reaction to the things that happen to you. That's it. So you have to know what's under your control, what's out of your control, and the difference between the two. And Epictetus really sums up Stoicism with this quote: "Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within your control, and some things are not." Beyond that, Stoics are really big on trying to understand their emotions. They analyze emotions and understand that emotions are based on beliefs, sometimes false beliefs, and expectations. They don't become the emotion. They think about the thinking that created that emotion. They conform to reality rather than having reality conform to their desires. And they love to turn tragedy into triumph. They try to find ways to make the best out of a situation and turn adversity into advantage. And some false beliefs I want to touch on. Stoics are not emotionless. They have trained themselves to try and understand emotions to see if they're warranted or not. They don't just blindly get swept away in emotion. And 2, Stoics are not complacent. No, they're people of action. They don't just idly sit by. They have direction and purpose, but if things go in a different direction from their intended course, they roll with it. They don't fight reality. They don't complain or whine. They simply accept what is. They don't become attached to the outcome. They're content but not passive. They seek their goals and are at peace no matter what the outcome is. It's really a great philosophy to practice if you suffer from anxiety, stress, anger, and feelings of helplessness. In this series, I'm going to go over a ton of great themes from Meditations, things like dealing with other people, simplicity, acceptance, solitude and meditation, death, judging others, the opinion of others, other people's affairs and fault-finding, values and purpose, change, failure and obstacles, your thoughts, the present, oneness, gratitude, nature, complaining, praise and pride, emotions, and helping others. And I'm going to touch on all these throughout the next videos, so I'll see you then. If you like this video, please like and subscribe.